Hello students, today we will be discussing another important question from the series of Shakespeare. Before starting today's question, I will let you know that I am uploading these videos for all students, those who are preparing for HPSC PGT exam, Assistant Professor exam, UPSC, RPSC and other states exams. These videos are also helpful for all the students, those who are preparing for their UG and PG English classes. I request you all, if you really like my videos, kindly let me know what the another thing which I can put there and upload there on this channel so that these will be helpful for you. Let us discuss today's important question. Today the question which I have taken for you, this is very important question. Write an essay on Shakespearean tragedy. You already know that Shakespearean tragedies are very important, and there are many chances that this question generally comes in paper. Let us this the question, how will you write the answer of this question? Shakespeare wrote a number of tragedies. The greatest among them are Macbeth, Othello, King Lear, and Hamlet. You already know for these great tragedies are very important. According to A.C. Bradley, Shakespeare had only a sense for tragedy, not a philosophy of it. This is the critical comment by A.C. Bradley for Shakespearean tragedy. There are certain a few common factors which are followed more or less in all his tragedies. Let us examine what these common factors are. A Shakespearean tragedy is invariably built around one pivotal figure. This is the important thing which you have to write, that their hero is very important. The hero who stands as a colossus beside many other characters of the play. Colossus means larger than the other characters. It must be remembered that Shakespearean tragedy does bring before us a very large number of dramatis personae. In Shakespearean tragedy, you find a long list of characters. Their number is indeed much larger than that of characters in ancient Greek tragedies, excluding chorus. So, in ancient Greek tragedies, you already know there are very less number of characters. Excluding chorus. In chorus, generally they followed many characters, many people they involved, but not in the main tragedy. However, the stage lights always remain focused on the hero. Other characters also experience ups and downs of fortune like the hero, but their career remain in the background. So other characters are also shown by Shakespeare in his tragedy, but they always remain in the background. There is only one character which is focused upon. It is only the love tragedies, Romeo and Juliet, Antony and Cleopatra, that some importance is given to the heroines. Her name is also the part of the title of the tragedy. Elsewhere, she is just one of the numerous minor characters. If we talk about King Lear, then Lady Macbeth has not given much importance. If we talk about Hamlet, then Ophelia, you already know that her scenes are very less. If we talk about Othello, then Desdemona is not given much importance than Othello himself. A tragedy remains ends in suffering and death. This is the second important thing, that the main characteristic of tragedy, that tragedy always ends in suffering and death. For otherwise, it will not be a tragedy. Shakespearean tragedy depicts always the suffering and death of the hero. If a play doesn't end in the death of the hero, it is not in Shakespearean sense a tragedy at all. This we have seen by studying his many tragedies. In all his tragedies, we find there is death, decay, destruction, and suffering. In Shakespearean tragedy, according to A.C. Bradley, is essentially a tale of suffering and calamity conducting to death. But the suffering doesn't befall at very beginning of the play. It starts only after the hero has committed a sin of omission and commission. What does it mean of omission and commission? Omission is the failure to act, and the commission is act of doing. So we find that it always starts after the hero committed a sin of omission, whether he is failure in act of doing something or whether he does some act of sin. The hero, under their stress, appears shaken in spite of his greatness and heroic capacity for suffering. Hamlet, by his mental torture, is virtually laid on the rack. Othello experiences a tempest in his very soul. Lear turns mad. Macbeth loses all interest in life and is obliged to characterize it as a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So, these are important lines from the play Macbeth. These you have to put as a critical comment. This is not a critical comment but critical thought. The hero who undergoes this nerve breaking incidents culminating in death, always a man of outstanding social status. He may be a king, a noble, a prince, a very high official, and so on. So, thus, for instance, Lear and Julius Caesar are king, Macbeth is a prince, Macbeth and Brutus are nobles, Othello is a general of the Republic. So, in this way, we have seen that he has taken the main character from the high social status. In his conception of tragic hero as a member of royalty and nobility. So, he has taken all the characters, all the tragic heroes of his tragedies from the royal status or from the noble class. Shakespeare conforms to the tradition of the ancient Greek tragedy as exemplified in the works of Sophocles, Aeschylus, Euripides, the ancient Roman tragedy as handled by Seneca, and even the tragic conception of Middle Ages as expressed by Chaucer in his prologue to the Monk's Tale, one of Canterbury's Tale. So here, his conception of tragic hero as a member of royalty and nobility that we have discussed, Shakespeare conforms to the tradition of ancient Greek tragedies as exemplified from the works of. So, in the works of Sophocles, Aeschylus, Euripides, we have seen that there is also the element. There is also the one tragic hero which was very important. Also, they have the element of horror and suffering. So, we have seen the quotation from the monk tales from the Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Chaucer has written one of the most important works in the Canterbury Tales, and from the Canterbury Tales, there is one important tale, Monk's Tale. So, in Monk's Tale, we find these lines which are very important, and these are giving the quotation of tragedy. Tragedy is to sin. Tragedy is to see a certain story as old books make us memory. These are written, these two lines are written in archaic style. We are to understand and make it easy in this way that tragedy is to see a certain story as old books make us memory. Shakespeare has his own concept of ideal tragic hero. So now we have seen that he has taken the character from the high status. There are Greek tragedies also which are following the same trend. Shakespeare has his own concept of ideal tragic hero. So, what is the concept of ideal tragic hero according to Shakespeare that we are to write? We must that who must be from the high strata of society that we have already seen. He must have believed that the fall of a poor and the humble person is painful, no doubt. So according to him, according to Shakespeare, Shakespeare is not against of using the common man, but he did not use common man for his tragedies. Why so? Because according to him, these common people will not give effect to others. The catharsis will not be happen there. That will not be a kind of purification. Others will not realize their own fault, their own sin. So that's why he has taken the character, taken the main character from a very high status, so that people will realize the harm of his life, and the same harm can be happened in their own life. So effect will be larger if we take the character from a high society. That is according to Shakespeare. So Shakespeare believed in this: the greater a man, the more stunning and effective is his fall. In modern literature, this concept of the artistic nature of the tragic hero has undergone a radical change. So if we find in today's time, the modern era, so the scenario has been changed. Here we find the character from the very low background, from very general background. So in the tragedies of Anton Chekhov and the novels of Hardy, for instance, we have tragic heroes of the very humble birth. There are many tragedies of Hardy's where he has taken their character from very no, from very general background, from a very humble birth. Now let us consider the cause of exceptional suffering and calamity which conduct the tragic hero to death. We can't say that it is destiny or the character which is wholly solely responsible for his downfall. It is in fact their combined action which spells death and destruction for the hero. Shakespearean tragedies are much less fatalistic as compared to Greek tragedies, where God governs everybody's destiny. So, if we give importance to destiny, so there we find that in Greek tragedies, we find this element is very important. They involved God and everything they put in the hands of God. So, there was the main reason of their suffering, that they did not follow God. Shakespearean tragic hero is good, but he is not perfect, nor is he a superman Mar Marlovian hero, nor still is he a villain. So in Shakespearean tragedy, we have seen that the character is good, but he is not perfect. He is full of faults. He has many faults, but he is not like the superhero, like the Marlovian tragedies, or nor still he is a villain. His characters is a mixed fabric, but with stains of good much more numerous than those of evil. There is in him a certain flaw of character, which Aristotle termed hamartia. So, what is hamartia? Hamartia is when the tragic flow happens, which provides a ground for the calamity which eventually overwhelms him. Lear's tragedy is the tragedy of dotage and short sightedness. So Lear, when he grew old, dotage means here when he grew old. So it is the tragedy of old age and short sightedness. He could not see which of his daughter was very likable to him, and showed much love towards him. He did not see this, so he was very short sighted, and in the um, old age he found tragedy in his life. Othello's that of credulity, Hamlet that of indecision, Macbeth that of ambition, Antony's that of neglect of duty, and so on. But apart from the fatal flaw, some other factors are also responsible for the catastrophe. They are the supernatural and chance happenings. Now you are also to involve that they're only not the tragic flow, only not the mishappening done by the characters, um, taking his downfall there, but there are other factors also, and they are supernatural and chance happenings. These factors do exert some influence on the hero's destiny, even though it is his own characters which is to blame. The supernatural beings such as ghost in Hamlet and three witches in Macbeth prompt the hero in each case to do what will be harmful for him. The same is true of the numerous chance happenings in Romeo and Juliet. It is by chance that the hero doesn't get the friar's message about the potion, and the heroine couldn't awake from her long sleep. In King Lear, it was by chance that Edgar couldn't reach the prison earlier than the hanging of Cordelia. So these are the common factors. These are the supernatural or the chance happenings through which we can say tragedy occurs. The conflict in Shakespearean tragedy is the essence of the whole drama. It may be justly said, no conflict, no drama. Now, the next important thing about the conflict, we have seen here the role of chance happenings and the role of supernatural powers in tragedies. Now, there is also the matter of conflicts. So, there are some internal conflicts and some external conflicts. These are also important for tragedies. So it may be justly said, no conflict, no drama. This conflict is of two kinds, both of which generally go on simultaneously. They are external and internal conflicts. The external conflict in which the hero and his party are pitted against their antagonist. The internal conflict which goes on in the mind and the soul of the hero. The conflict is between attitudes, loyalties, conceptions, or passions. Antony's mind is torn between opposite poles of love and duty. Macbeth between those of ambition and duty, and so on. And in the same way, we find in Hamlet also. He was also confused to be or not to be, to kill or not to kill. In the end, we can say that Shakespeare's tragic universal is neither wholly fatal nor wholly moral. No evil character does ever go unfinished. In Shakespearean tragedy, Shakespeare's greatness as a tragic writer lies in his deep understanding of human emotions and moral complexities. His tragedies are not merely stories of death, but powerful studies of life, suffering, and human condition, making them timeless and universally relevant. So, in this way, we have completed today's discussion of the of the question, write an essay on Shakespearean tragedy. I hope you have understood wholly how you have to put this question, this the answer of this question. Thank you, students.
Stay with me.